Ever since I have beaten Puku forever, I have reached 100 extremes, an achievement I never thought I'd ever reach. Then I thought to myself, why not make a ranking video? I will be ranking my 100 extremes according to simply how I felt about the level's gameplay after I beat it, and not how I feel about it right now. And one more thing. No, I will not be including my 2 platformer extremes, as platformer is a completely different skill set to my eyes and also doesn't benefit me with my classic mode skills. With that out of the way, let's get on with it, shall we? So, what is the worst level I have beaten out of all the 100 extremes? That's right, the City of Death. If Acropolis used to be a level I actually liked, but after I started it, oh my god, this level has a lot of issues. A whole lot of this level was so goddamn abysmal to play, especially the corridor part at 74 to 83%. Then there's this random inverted slope at 71%, which I thought I was going crazy when I died there, but no. It's there. Also, the entire level feels so inconsistent. But if there's anything good I can say, it's that 21 to 48% is the best, if not the best part in any extreme. And it felt so satisfying to play, and then I feel good pulling it off. That part was one of my favorite parts in any extreme demon, and I'm serious. There's one singular problem, however. It's an Acropolis. Calm down. It's just the first level, and a bad one at that. You got this. Next up is Roby, and I had a terrible experience with it. Even though it went well at first, playing from zero became more tedious as I died to the last ship so many times I lost count. At that point I got so mad I kept dying to what I consider absolute BS. If I didn't get so unlucky, this one would have been higher, but no, it's not. Thank goodness I didn't die to the last triple spike, though. I had the same problems with Komodo as mentioned with Roby, except it was worse. While the gameplay was better and more satisfying to play, which is why this is 1 spot higher than Roby, my experience only got worse, and at that point I got a big mind block with the ship. It wasn't like this before, but the ship started to feel so awful to play, I had to beat another extreme for my 30th, switch to 240 FPS, and then only I beat it. I know, skill issue, but like I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm just glad to have this level off of my hands. Red World wasn't all that horrible, but the last ship being way too hard than the rest, and the fact that this was so boring, it made me like the level even less. Mainly because the gameplay was slow, but that's it. Not much to say about this one. Misty Mountains had better gameplay, but the beginning being too long and the fact that I had to wait a few seconds in the beginning every time I died kinda ruined it for me. Not horrible, but honestly, I think it could be better. I beat this on 60 FPS, so this might be pretty unfair, but Cataclysm felt pretty awful to play, especially the ship part. This would have been higher if I had beaten this later, but instead, I beat it when I was still on 60 FPS, which is why this is low on the list. What a relief that I didn't die to the last straight fly. For being a not so well received level in the Technology Trilogy, Cybernetic Crescent isn't too horrible actually. It's just that the beginning is a drag with a random choke point, the Devon's part being as it is, and that one blind blue orb in Heinz part. The rest of the level is actually fun though. While some people hate castling, I do too! Some parts are tolerable, but everything else is a pain to play from zero, especially the ending. That cube jump right before the last wave is basically blind. Also, the yellow orbs can bug out and you won't make it, which is what happened to me from zero. While better than the last extremes I mentioned, this one's still pretty bad, I think. Reverie is another one of those levels I got super unlucky at, especially at Hell Pegasus parts, which made me enjoy this one a whole lot less. Why? As I said, I got super unlucky. It is a skill issue, but like, I got so mad. It's also the worst level in the Ocular Miracle trilogy, in my opinion. Now we have the ultimate return. Like some other levels I mentioned, I got bored playing this one as well. The gameplay's cool, but I kinda got bored quickly and it made me enjoy it less, mainly because of the pre-drop. Still a good looking level though. In 90, we have Red World Rebirth. It's an improvement to the original, and the last ship is actually easy now. This one was also kinda boring to play, just like normal Red World, but this one's higher due to it being harder, and I like hard levels. It still has the same issues like normal Red World, like the gameplay being slow as hell. I still thought that this one was more fun than the original, hence why this one's higher. Next up is Echo. Like Red World Rebirth, I also got bored from this, mainly because of the gameplay. Also, I beat this pretty quickly, so I really don't have anything to say other than the 3 last clicks are very chokeable, so watch out for that if you're gonna go for this. Carnage mode is pretty cool, but its boring gameplay and length kinda ruined the experience for me. And because of that, this one's lower than I hoped it would be. There are some parts that were still fun to play, however. I also beat this one pretty quickly, so really there's nothing to write home about. Make It Drop is probably the buggiest level I have ever beaten, and it's still more fun than the other extremes I mentioned. However, the only reason that this one's higher than the rest is that the gameplay is fun, especially 54 to 60. Despite the bugs, I managed to enjoy this. Crowd Control has its share of good gameplay, the pre-drop, the UFO, that's pretty much it. In reality, I don't really have much to say about this one. I do recommend it, however, the base gameplay is really fun. Believe it or not, I actually found Zaphkiel Hell fun. Even though the gameplay is stupid, I was good enough at the game, and I liked it. This is one of those levels where no matter how good you are at the game, you would still feel really good when you beat this, and I managed to beat this in 2 days. But yeah, as I said, the gameplay is stupid, and the last wave is the same one as the first wave, basically. There are better levels out there that I beat. Broken Signal has some weird gameplay, but I had some fun with it. It feels satisfying to pull off. Even that wave. The deco's pretty cool as well. Again, not much to write home about since I beat this pretty quickly as well. Now we have Now Dead, another flow extreme. While fun to pull off, I got kinda bored from it. I also beat this pretty fast, so I don't have much to say about this, but it's not a bad level. I still really like this one. I found Deception Dive to be fun and boring. Boring because of the pre-drop, but when the drop starts, the level becomes more enjoyable in my opinion. There are some stupid choke points, like that ball click at 75% and then 76 to 87%. I didn't die there so many times, however, which is why I like this level more than the others. Glisten is a cool short level. The click pattern is fun, but the gameplay could be better. I also beat this quickly, so really I don't have much to say about this one as well. Doesn't stop me from liking it though. The ultimate phase is no doubt an iconic level, but the gameplay was nothing special for me. I actually don't have much to say about this one. The duels are fun. That's basically it. Sonic Wave Rebirth is just Sonic Wave, but barely harder, and it's also basically infinite circles, deco-wise. Otherwise, this is pretty much the exact same level as the original, and is somehow worse. And boring since I beat the original first. Meltdown is nothing special for me. The wave and ship parts I enjoyed a lot, but otherwise it's just a typical extreme in my eyes. It's still a good level regardless. And now we come to my first extreme, Decay. This one will always be in my heart, even if I have raged a fair bit. The gameplay is so satisfying to pull off, and by that I mean everything. Even the last ship, while not my favorite extreme, it's still a really cool one. I wouldn't recommend this as a first extreme, but this one's still really good. I found the Ultimate Demon better than the sequel, gameplay-wise. It just feels more fun to play, and the pre-drop is a lot better in my opinion. And by better I mean harder and shorter. Also, I fluked the limbo keys somehow. That's cool. Now I have talked about a quarter of my extremes, and I'll start talking about my next quarter, starting with Overtime. This is a really cool level, but some transitions and a few parts kinda ruined it for me. I beat this really quickly as well, so I don't really have anything to say. Just that the choke points are pretty stupid in my opinion. I found Rivers of Nazareth through Zeronium's completion video, and it looked like a really cool level. And well, it was. The gameplay is so fun to pull off, but knowing me still being pretty bad at the ship before, I had troubles with the last part. Still a great level regardless. Next up comes my 5th extreme, Hypersonic. The gameplay was very fun for me, and so was learning it, even though Viper's memory part was a pain. The duels are satisfying, and even Manix's and Etz's part were fun to pull off. There's one problem however, that ship segment in Etz's part is pretty dumb. Now we have Plasma Pulse 3. This one was really good, even though some parts are harder than the rest, like that UFO for example. The gameplay was pretty weird, but that didn't stop me from liking the level. After that comes Heart Attack. The gameplay was nothing really special for me other than it's fun, and the deco looks cool as well. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I don't really have anything to say about this since I beat this fairly quick as well. Still a fun extreme though. Despite Darwin's and Foremode's parts being as it is, Night Party is a really fun easy extreme. The gameplay was satisfying to pull off, even the choke points are. This one's a good level to test your nerve control in my opinion. Out of all the Komal extremes I've beaten, I think that Falling Up was my least favorite. The gameplay feels so slow to me, and I can't really put my finger on why it was like that. The drop and the duel were the only parts I really had fun playing, and that's basically it for this level. Reverence is another typical flow extreme. Apart from the click sync being fun and cool to pull off, this level isn't anything too special for me. I can say deco looks pretty cool as well. Now we have Bloodbath. This iconic level is surprisingly fun to pull off, especially the ship parts. I think that it's another one of those levels where no matter how good you are, you would still feel awesome after beating it, like Zaphkiel in Hell as I mentioned before. I also used to be stubborn and went for this as my 2nd or 3rd extreme, and back then I wasn't really good enough, which explains my unusually high attempt count. Otherwise, really cool level I'd say. Shock Therapy has great gameplay with cool deco in my opinion. The waves were super fun, and the rest of the drop was fun as well. The pre-drop was a bit of a drag to be honest. Also, I rebeat this for the coin in this Christmas update they release every December. So yes, I have the coin as well. Despite the duels being very learny, Browno is one of those levels you don't like, but then it becomes more fun when you get more consistent. And I actually had fun with this one, even though the duels were a pain to learn. Here we have another skill-based extreme, Quantum Processing. This one was actually surprisingly really fun, even though it's just blast processing but buffed. One thing I can agree on is that one UFO is super dumb and lineup based, which was a pretty big choke point for me. And even after that, there are some hard clicks after. If it went for that UFO, this one would be higher. Zettabytes was, strangely enough, super fun to play. I wanted to beat something with bad gameplay, so I went for this. And what the heck, it was actually fun? Yeah, so the gameplay was satisfying to pull off, and the deco looks really good. I can agree that this one's pretty unoptimized, which explains the lag spike I had in my completion, but I beat it in full detail regardless. Next up in this list is Forbidden Isle. While some don't like this, I actually enjoyed it. The drop was super fun to play, and the pre-drop, while some don't like it because of some timings, I never really had a problem with them, which is why this one's higher in the list. Moment has some lonely but interesting gameplay, but that did not stop me from liking it. After learning it, the gameplay was so much fun and so satisfying to pull off. There are some weird clicks here and there, but that's pretty much it. I enjoyed the Flawless more than I ever could have expected. Doing the ship parts, especially the straight flies, was super fun and satisfying for me to pull off. While the gameplay isn't the best, it's still a good extreme to test your ship skills in my opinion. Artificial Ascent was a level I did not expect to like at all, but after getting more consistent, it turns out it wasn't that bad after all. The entire level was so much fun to play. This iconic level still holds up to this day, and I didn't think that before, but playing the level proved me wrong. Next up is my first list demon, Zodiac. Despite me raging at it a fair bit, I still had a lot of fun, both learning the level and playing from zero. Me dying to TMN's parts a fair bit made me enjoy a bit less, but who would have known? It's the hardest part in my opinion. The reasons why this is higher is that I managed to have some fun and I fluked from 72%. I passed Failure's part twice without dying. I didn't die to the 79 click in Penato's part. I didn't die to Slim Jim's and Leo Creator X's part, and I fluked NLEX. If anything, I thought that I'd die to NLEX, but I didn't. How? Skill. That's how. And good nerve control. Can't forget that. While kinda stupid at parts, Memories 3 is a really cool and fun easy extreme. The click pattern is satisfying to do, and the duels are really fun. Speaking of the duels, the level is poorly received because of that containing a major chunk of the level, but I never really had a problem with that. The pre-drop became a drag for me over time, however, but I still like it a lot. Stalemate Redux was also a level I did not expect to like in the end. The pre-drop was okay, but it had a cool click pattern in the wave, making me like it more. The drop is so fun with the UFO and especially the ship. The ending memory has a fun click pattern in the end once you learn it, and then the last duel mini-ship is nerve-wracking. But I didn't die there a single time. Guess my nerve control is on spot, huh? Apart from some awkward clicks, this level is so much fun to play. Okay, this might be my hottest take ever, but Aftermath is, genuinely and unironically, the best one in the Hell trilogy. Even though some people deem this as the worst one, I think otherwise because the gameplay is super fun to pull off. Yes, even that ship in the draw. Sure, the deck was just Cataclysm, but at least they didn't pull a Sonic Wave Rebirth. Even though they never redecorated it, that's the least of my problems. Next we have Erebus. I see this one as Platinum pulling a Sonic Wave Rebirth and redecorated it, but the gameplay is nerfed this time. I mean, it's not a bad thing, and definitely not a bad level, but a lot of the moving objects that interfere with the gameplay is part of why this is lower than normal Erebus. If the moving objects were toned down by a lot, it would be at the same support as normal Erebus. Otherwise, this is a cooler remake. Now we have my 100th Extreme, Puku Forever. I think it's really cool, and it's really fun as well. The gameplay flows well, and the decoration fits with the song, even though the deco's kind of all over the place. I still have nitpicks with this one, like the 3 black orbs at 3%, which feels RNG if you pass it or not. 10 to 14% sometimes doesn't work, and then 82 to 88 sometimes bugs out. If all of those were fixed, this one would be higher than it is. Still a really fun level though. Niwa is such a good flow extreme in my opinion. The only hard parts are 42 to 59 and the ending ship. Other than that, super fun. And once I saw the old unnerfed version and tried it out for myself, I'm happy that this one has been updated. Disruption is also a fun level, and I thought I would hate it since it's high CPS. Turns out, the high CPS is the sole reason as to why I found this level more fun. The high CPS parts were super satisfying to pull off, and the rest of the level of course. It's just that the click in 69% and the last part is pretty BS. Other than that, it's super fun to play, I think. And now we're halfway there. Entering the top 50, we're starting with Faith. This one was lonely, but it didn't stop me from playing it since I wanted to beat the Ocular Miracle trilogy. This one was super fun to play. Yes, really. I enjoyed this one a lot more than Reverie, and I also thought that this one was easier. Also, the fact that I beat it in 3 days made me not hate the level. Heartbeat has pretty awkward and interesting gameplay. I mean, it is a coma level after all. I honestly really don't have much to say since I beat this in a singular day. Oh well, technically I went for this before and then dropped it. but I still don't really know, to be honest. I still found it fun, however. Mind Control is a really cool and interesting extreme. The gameplay was fun to play, and that's basically it. Also, the fact that I fluked this from 48% made me not hate it, and most of the choke points are in the second half, which I somehow didn't die to. I really like this level, and still like it. Daybreak is just an average easy extreme. Nothing too crazy, but has some nitpicks. Roogie's part has some awkward clicks here and there. Danger Cat's part has this really hard wave for no reason, and the transition from the HK's to Evasium's part is pretty much blind. Also, I fluked this from 25%, so, well, I basically have nothing to say. It is a fun easy extreme if you're looking for one. Just watch out for the parts I mentioned. EXO is, strangely enough, pretty fun. I really like the gameplay, but the length of the level made it lower than I thought it would be. My biggest nitpick is the fact that the two blue orb sync parts hardly even sync to the music, and dying there from 0 was such a pain. Otherwise, really good level, I'd say. Subsonic was a lot more fun than I initially thought. Well, I did beat this in 3 hours, so I actually don't have much to say, but I'll try. The gameplay is fun except for some parts like Viper's memory part, Pan's part being super chokeable, and that spider in Dudex's parts was pretty annoying. Otherwise, really cool level, I think. At Marble, a former hardest and my 10th extreme. The gameplay is so much fun to play, even the annoying parts. And I'm also talking about NLEX. Even though I got mad sometimes and unlucky towards the end, it will not change the fact that this one is super fun. I'd definitely rebeat it if I wanted to. Blade of Justice is an iconic level, of course. The gameplay was pretty cool. Even the duel. Yeah, I really don't have much to say since I went for and dropped this level a long while before I beat it, and then I beat it in one day when I picked it up again. It is a fun level, however, no doubts about that. Phobos is actually really fun. I know, hard to take, but I mean it's just an opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, the gameplay is pretty awkward, I'll admit, but it's super interesting as well, even the choke points. So yes, I love this level. However, there is one thing I can agree on. What is that random line doing in Roogie's part, man? I only beat Endless Dream because it was Zeronim's favorite extreme. While it's not my favorite, the gameplay is really fun to play, especially that duel in the drop. I found the pre-drop and ending to be boring, however. Pretty slow and chokeable, even though the drop has some choke points as well, but I found those to be more fun. 10th circle. Funny Russian level. Anyways, this one was fun to play, but the pre-drop was pretty boring, except for that chip of course. Waves were awkward, but it was fun as well. And then the middle was more so pretty boring, honestly. Also, this is proof that you do not need the fat wave or red wave trail to play bright levels. Just thought I'd mention that. Black Blizzard was actually fun, more fun than I thought it would be. The drop is so much fun to play, especially that duel. My only nitpick is that the pre-drop is kinda slow and boring, but otherwise, it's not bad. Skrach is genuinely super funny for some reason, and I don't even know why. So yeah, I just had to beat this as my 69th extreme. This one was pretty fun actually. The gameplay's kind of stupid, but I got more consistent to the point that I just didn't care anymore. Cool level, I'd say. Bellark, another flow extreme. What a surprise! Being serious, this one was really fun. Doing the click pattern throughout the level felt so good and awesome. There are some BS clicks here and there, but otherwise, I really like this one. If I were to name an extreme that is one of the last levels you would enjoy, Innards is a pretty good example, I'd say. Yes, I actually found this one super fun to play. I will admit that some choke points are kind of stupid, but hey, I enjoy this, and that's cool. I used to not like Bloodlust for the longest time, but that was because I sucked at the game back then. Turns out, this one was really good. The gameplay is pretty awkward in my opinion, considering that this is a remake of Bloodbath, but my consistency became so much better, it didn't even matter anymore. Examples of parts I want to mention are Zaro's and that corridor part after. Those parts have some of the most fun gameplay in any extreme in my opinion, I'm happy I played and beat this one. While the decoration does not follow the same theme throughout the entire level, Shuku Fuku has some really fun and cool gameplay. I mean, it is a flow extreme after all. There were some stupid clicks here and there, but otherwise it's not a bad level. Prismatic Haze is super fun and super cool to play. The click pattern, for the most part, was on spot. My only nitpick is the fact that 39% feels inconsistent, but otherwise this one's really cool. Clarity is genuinely super fun and awesome to play, especially the drop. Other than getting unlucky at the duel, there really is nothing bad about this one, I want to say, since I also beat this pretty fast. Really good level in my opinion. I thought that Gaming 35 would be cool ever since I saw it on Nexus's channel. Safe to say, I'm happy I went for this one. The level's click pattern got me so consistent, it was just fun the whole way through. Learning it was still a bit of a pain, but I went over it fairly quickly. Here we have the first level in the RGB trilogy, Yatagarasu. This one was a lot more fun than I initially thought. The gameplay was, surprisingly, really good and fun to play. Even the choke points were really fun. The only reason that this one's my least favorite is because it's not very interesting gameplay wise in my opinion. That's why I found the other two to be more fun. My brother liked this level, so I beat it. Damage control, or DMGCTRL, depending on how you wanna say it, was super fun to play. And since I was getting better at the ship at that time, this one became even more fun to play. The thing is, I also beat this fairly quickly, so I really don't know what else to say. This one is still really fun, however. Next up we have Digital Descent, my favorite one in the technology trilogy. Even though the gameplay was pretty awkward, that is actually what made me enjoy playing this one very much. The choke points were super satisfying, and even the pre-drop was also fun for some reason. I'm so glad I have beaten this, even if it's not a new hardest. Now we have the second RGB level, Erebus. I found this one more interesting than Yatagarasu because, unsurprisingly, the gameplay is so much more interesting and pretty awkward, but that didn't really matter. Even though the memory part was annoying to learn, I did learn it, and suddenly it was more fun. I don't really know what else to say about this one considering I managed to beat this in a singular session, so I don't have a complete opinion other than it's fun. Speaking of the RGB levels, here we have the last one, Sonic Wave. This one isn't a really well received level, but because the Wave is my best game mode, I actually think that this one's the best one. The drop was super fun to play, but the pre-drop and the middle felt more for drag, hence why this one is lower. We only have 1/4 left, but I'll save the 5 remaining extremes for a separate segment. For now, the next level is LED 50. My supposedly first list demon. Same concept like other levels. Found this in a channel, thought it was really cool, and went for it once I had the skill. I am super happy I played this one. The gameplay was very fun once you learn it, and it gets more consistent. Even the mirrored duel was fun. All you need is a click pattern and you're good to go. It is unfortunate that this fell off the list before I could even beat it, but I'm happy with it regardless. If you're wondering, I beat it when it was 151. Maths is a really fun, easy extreme. Once you get the click pattern down and get more consistent, it becomes more fun, in my opinion. The only nitpick is that it can get really boring from zero if you don't beat it pretty fast. But that is more of a pro player thing, and well, it has happened to me. If you're looking for an easy but challenging extreme, this one could be an option. Catalyze is a really fun skill-based extreme. Everything about this level was so satisfying to play. The only reason this one's lower than its prequel is the fact that, yes, I got unlucky, and it made me enjoy it a bit less. It's still a really fun extreme, however. Next we have Idols. I used to hate this level due to how unlucky I got when I was trying to beat it before. Now I just beat this in one day, and since I did that, I really don't know what to think about this level anymore, other than the gameplay was fun and unique. That's it. Napalm is a super fun level with satisfying gameplay. Everything about this level was super good, even if I died to the ending a few times. Even the click sync was really good. The ending felt a bit weird to play, but that's about it. Aku is, no doubt, one of the most fun flow easy extremes in the game. The click pattern was super fun to do, and so were the choke points. I don't know what else to say, considering I beat this in 3 days, and it was my second extreme. Really good level, though. I can see why some don't like Troll Machine due to its repetitive click pattern and the duel being as it is, but I actually never had a problem with that. I just found this so much fun to play, both from runs and zero, and the duels got very consistent for me. Also, the fact that I beat this in 2 days makes this one a bit higher. Diligence, in my opinion, is the best one out of the Ocular Miracle trilogy. Even though it's super lonely, the level got more consistent and it wasn't that bad actually. The gameplay was really cool and fun to do, though some choke points are pretty annoying, like that duel in the middle. This one might have been higher if the choke points weren't as it is, but otherwise this one's still really fun. I'm not really sure what to say about Mystic Bounce. Not that it's bad, but I somehow fluked this from 40%. Keep in mind that this was only my 9th extreme, so I got really surprised, and I still am. Anyways, because of that, I don't have much to say, but the gameplay was super good. That's basically it. Root End. What do I even say? For context, I somehow became a god and beat this in 3 attempts after practicing it. Sure, it just was an easy extreme I beat, but in 3 attempts after practicing is something I would have never expected. I beat this one in such a short time, I hardly have anything to say at all. The only things I can say were that the last wave is the hardest part, and the swing was pretty lonely, but that's it. Matilda the Machine was surprisingly really good. A whole lot of the gameplay was really fun apparently. There are some weird clicks here and there, but it's not enough for me to hate this, and I thought I was gonna hate it. Turns out, I was simply wrong. Next up, we have Blacklight. This one was a fun, easy, and lonely extreme in my opinion, though I don't have much to say, considering I beat this the same day I beat Roby. The wave is the hardest part, I think, but it gets consistent, and so does the rest of the level. Now we have KayozX. Even though this is just Ato but redecoed, buffed, and uses another part of the song, this one was a whole lot of fun. The reason being that I am so much better at the ship, and that's what made this level super fun to play. If I played this before I switched to 240, I think that this would be a lot lower, but I'm happy I played it after I switched. This one's super good. Finka-V3 is actually a fun remake. It is quite lonely, but it's not super bad once you get better. Everything about the gameplay was really fun for me, even that gimmick part. The duels could use some work, but it's not bad enough for me to hate it. Freedom 08 used to be my favorite extreme demon of all time when I beat it. Even though I'm over it now, I still cannot help but love this level. The gameplay was super fun to play. I will admit that the level has some annoying bugs, but even that didn't stop me from loving this level, and I even managed to combat the transition bug at 14%. Let me make this quick. All you have to do is immediately jump on the structure at 13%, like how you would buffer an orb. Then you just buffer the orbs and you're good to go. I'm not sure if this will work for everyone, but it works for me when I was on 60 FPS at least. And speaking of 60 FPS, this is my hardest on that refresh rate. Pretty cool, eh? Right before I started Atomic Cannon, I thought that this would be the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. Now I think it's safe to say, it wasn't. The level was, no doubt, a pain to learn, but once I fully learned it and got even more consistent, it apparently wasn't that horrible. Even though the level was super lonely and super annoying to learn, I still somehow managed to beat this in 3 days. I don't know how, but hey, I did it. I think that Chromatic Haze is the better level when it comes to gameplay. Even though the gameplay was a pain to learn compared to Prismatic Haze, it's more of an Atomic Cannon situation where I fully learned and got more consistent at it. Once I did that, I just found all of the gameplay really satisfying to play, and better since this one's harder. Now I know that harder levels doesn't mean better, but for me, most of them are better since I just found the level more fun. This applies to Chromatic Haze as well. Even though it's an easy extreme, Azurite is genuinely such a good level. The entire level was really fun to play, even the pre-drop and that duel in the drop. I did beat this in a singular day, so I don't have much to say, but I had a lot of fun playing this one regardless. Falcon 16 was so much fun. The click sync and the gameplay felt awesome to play, including the choke points. There are some stupid clicks here and there. The most notorious one in my eyes was 69%, where the orb timing was basically blind, but the orb being synced kind of made it less stupid. Otherwise, great level. Next up is my hardest as of this video, Terminal Rampancy. Even though it took me 4 months and the fact that I got unlucky in the end, this one is one of the best list demons I've ever played. And also my first main list, which isn't anymore unfortunately, but whatever, I still beat it at least. Anyways, learning it was a pain, but like every other level, it got better. And then playing it was so fun, awesome and satisfying, and I'm not even joking. I got to thank Aonair for streaming this and letting me find this masterpiece of a level. This is by far my proudest achievement yet. Now that that's out of the way, it's time to talk about my top 5 favorite extreme demons. For my 5th, we're starting off with Astral Divinity. I also thought that this one was bad, but that was because, again, I sucked at the game. Now I think of it as an absolute masterpiece. The gameplay in this level was so much fun. Even that ball pot in the second quarter of the drop was good. The only thing that bothers me a bit is that the wave pot in 79 has moving structures, which made me die if I went too far high or low. And the fact that the transition to the drop is blind. I got both of them over pretty quickly, however, so it didn't bother me so much at that point. This is an amazing level. For my 4th, we have Incipient. Even though the decoration blocks most of the view of the gameplay, I didn't have a problem with that. Playing this was super satisfying and felt really cool to play. And yes, I'm saying the same thing to the pre-drop. Everything about this level was so much fun, I just can't help but love it. This is by far the best extreme under 1000 in this list. For my 3rd, we have Cat Planet. This one is by far my favorite 9 circles level in this list. The drop was just so much fun. Everything about that wave felt so good and satisfying to pull off. I did beat this with a slightly different click pattern, but that didn't affect my enjoyment. Even the pre-drop felt really good to play. This is an easy 9 circles level a lot of people should try and beat in my opinion. For my 2nd, we have my 3rd and recent list demon, Axony. The gameplay was super fun to play, especially the drop. The pre-drop, for me, wasn't a drag, and the last high CPS pot was also satisfying to play, even if learning it was a pain to do. Also, the fact that I fluked this from 72, and the fact that this is my first list demon in under a week, spanning 4 days, made me enjoy this level even more. This is by far my favorite list demon in the game. For my favorite extreme demon, this level is something that I used to hate a lot, but again, that was because I sucked at the game back then. With gameplay I found to be weird back then, Zaphkiel is certainly an extreme that I never thought I would enjoy a lot at all, let alone be my favorite extreme. Everything about this level was so much fun, I even managed to have fun with the choke points. My favorite part in the level is that lava part at 58 to 80. The gameplay there was especially awesome to play, and even if I had beaten harder levels, I felt so good doing that part in specific. The same thing goes to everything else. I felt so good playing those other parts, but it doesn't hit as hard as that lava part. This is by far the most fun, the most satisfying, the best extreme demon I have ever beaten in the game. And that was all my 100 extreme demons ranked. I got surprised over a few things when making this list, like me liking most of the extremes I used to hate a lot back then. Notable examples are Bloodlust, the RGB series, and even Zaphkiel, which is also my favorite extreme in the game. That is something younger me would have never expected back then. Making this list was fun, but it also took time and effort. If you found this video interesting and would like to support me, maybe give it a like, or even subscribe, or comment, maybe? It's your choice. I don't upload videos like this very often, considering that this is one of my first videos I've ever made and put together by myself. And also the fact that I have school as well, so last thing I want to say is, thank you for watching my video, and maybe I'll see you in my next one. Take care.